29 लोग पार्टिसिपेट कर चुके हैं। तो मैं कहूँगा कि आसिम भाई से स्टार्ट करें। बिस्मिल्लाह, थोड़ा सा अपना इंट्रोडक्शन कराने के बाद आप सेशन स्टार्ट करें।
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। My voice is clear to all of you. मेरी आवाज सही आ रही है सबको?
जी आ रही।
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My presentation today is on business continuity management during and post COVID-19, because we all know that this is the number one priority these days, and we all are striving towards and fighting against COVID-19. And my presentation will be covering the business continuity aspects, what we have to do during this COVID-19 and post COVID-19 as well. So first of all, a small introduction from myself. My name is Asim Baig. I'm the president of CEO and president of Meridian Quality Management Professionals, which is a management consultancy, training and certification company. I'm a management consultant, trainer, auditor, writer, and speaker in different national and international conferences. I have a speaker as well. Basically, I'm a mechanical engineer from NED University of Engineering and Technology. With regard to that, I'm also president of NED Alumni Forum in Saudi Arabia. I'm an API auditor for oil and gas industries, and my region is Middle East, North Africa, and Eastern Europe. I'm also the president of Middle East Quality Management Professionals. We have 1,500 members in that. In addition to that, I'm also the chapter in charge of the MAM for PEF. I'm also the first quality manager for the year by Saudi Arabian Quality Council, and also awarded by European Society of Quality and Research in Organizational Excellence Award. I'm a Toastmaster as well and president of different clubs. So this is my introduction. Let's start my presentation for the business continuity. The business continuity aspect is definitely is the terminology which is being used very oftenly in the business in the cases of crisis, disaster, or any interruption. Crisis can be any fire or any earthquake like disaster, or any interruption. It can be an IT interruptions or anything. The business continuity is being handled by different companies in these scenarios, which are crisis, disaster, and interruptions. But nowadays we are facing a new business continuity aspect, which is due to this COVID-19 pandemic. So my presentation will cover the business continuity aspects of this pandemic, COVID-19. First of all, I will start with a bad news from IMF. The global economy is projected to contract sharply by -3% in 2020 as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, a much worse contraction than during the 2008 and 9 financial crisis, which means that this crisis which is going to happen with regard to this COVID-19 is much more worse than the 2008 financial crisis, which we need to understand. You might have seen various studies on that. Various reports are coming every day, and everybody is saying that due to this COVID-19, the 2020, the whole year has to be suffered. So my presentation will focus on that which areas are more affected and which areas are not affected or will grow also, and how we will proceed with those aspects in this 2020 with regard to the COVID-19. This picture which is showing now in front of you, on the left side, I have users of industries within this COVID-19, which start with, if you see from the left side bottom, tourism and leisure. Of course, all the tourism is being badly affected, and definitely up till the normal situation, it will be affected. Aviation and maritime, for sure. Automotive industry, construction and real estate, manufacturing for the non-essential items. Non-essential items means that those are which are not required. Like if you talk about Saudi Arabia, all the Aramco related manufacturing will definitely be going on. Oil and gas related industries will be going on, but all the non-essential industries which may not be requiring so oftenly will definitely be suffering. Financial services as well. Financial services with regard to like banks and other financial institutions which are involved in different bank loans and other things. These are affected as well, because and they will be affected because people will not be able to fund it back to those institutions. So these will be definitely affected. The next area is in the area of education. Education will also be suffered because we all have seen that all the schools, colleges, universities are being closed down, and the situation is not clear that up to what time they will be closed and when they will be open. I have put this oil and gas in the middle, which is initially potential losers, but as the situation will become better, it will be potential winners as well. The other potential winners are agriculture for sure, because these are the essential items which, if you compare with other industries, like if we talk about Pakistan, even Pakistan is an agriculture country, and for that particular reason we also say that it's thanks God that we are an agriculture country, and for that particular reason we have all those resources available with us. Next area is the e-commerce. E-commerce will also be affected positively, in a sense that uh, we know that all the new businesses are focusing on the e-commerce, and one presentation will also be there today. Information technology definitely will be potentially winners. Personal and healthcare. This is for sure, because this is the area where people are now focusing on, and this is the area where everyone in the world is basically working for. Food processing and retail. Food processing and retail as well, because previously people were depending on the fresh foods and all these things, but now food processing and warehousing, those can also be potential winners. And then also the medical supply and services division as well. So these are the potential losers and winners. So we have to see that where we fall and what should be our strategy to cover up, to do the business continuity in this particular business environment. So what are the challenges? The challenges which we are facing nowadays are the workforce absent, first of all. For sure, employees are not attending the offices, they're working from homes. Their controls is a big challenge, that how to control those employees, their attendance and their everything. So it's a big challenge for us. Business temporarily shut down. Many businesses which are shut down, completely closed, like restaurants, all other appliances, and those kind of businesses which are totally closed. So they are suffering a lot. Inability to travel, because a lot of businesses which are depending on traveling, and for our usual business as well, we travel a lot sometime. So that is also be a challenge, that we cannot travel during these situations, and it is becoming a challenge. And the next is the supply chain disruption. This is the majority of the businesses are suffering with the supply chain disruption, that it started with China in the beginning when it started. This COVID-19 started in China, and all the supplies were stopped from China, and later on it shifted to the Europe side and now to the US. So everywhere, wherever this uh, pandemic is going on and suffering the country a lot, the supply chain is definitely suffering. So we need to talk about today about all these issues, that how we can manage with regard to the business continuity, that how we can work on and see that how we can proceed further. For the business continuity aspect, we have to do a business impact analysis. This is the first step which normally we do for the business continuity process. So first of all, we need to identify the government policies to reduce the pressure. Many government and many countries, they have given different policies to give some exemptions, some extra efforts government is making, and they are giving some positive responses to the industries as well. Then we have to identify the key functions of every company, that which functions are the key functions which are required to work on. To continue a business, we are not required to run all the functions in in a company. We need to identify, first of all, the key functions. Majority in our groups, in our group PEF, are the owners of the company, or the general managers or the top managers of the company, and it is their responsibility now to see that what are those key functions. The third thing is the identification of the minimum number of staff needed, because the staff which can work from the homes are only work nowadays. So we need to identify that which people can work from home. They have the facility for that, and they have the idea to work on. And this is the area where we are really suffering these days, that people in many companies, they are not able to work from homes. This is a challenge which the companies are facing. Then we have to identify that which machinery or equipment are required. We need to identify, we need to chalk out, we need to list down those equipment and machineries which are required in this particular scenario, because the business is to be shrink. So when the business is shrink, we need to see that what are the minimum number of equipments which are required, so we can work accordingly with those minimum number of machinery or equipments. What supplies are required? What raw material is required? Or without that particular raw material, you cannot work on. So you need to see that which equipments are required and which supplies are required to do so. So we need to make a list for those equipment as well as the supplies. So what to do with the current scenario, what to do now to business continuity, for the business continuity? The first and the foremost thing is prioritize pupil safety and continuous engagement. Majority of the companies are doing. The people are at home, they are working from home. So the companies has to work genuinely on that, to see that how we can make our people safe, so they cannot interact so oftenly. If they have to come to the office, they have to come with a minimum number of people and with the best control of it. And then the biggest challenge is the continuous engagement as well, that how to engage those employees. So I will cover it with the next slide also. The next point where I have identified the business continuity is to reshape the strategy for business continuity. We all have to reshape it. The strategy which were going before that in 2019 and early 2020, we have to reshape it. We may have to revise the budgets, because definitely the budget will be suffered. So it's the time which we need to utilize in a positive way, in a sense that the time which has been given to us, we have to revise and we have to see what operations which we were not been able to do in normal circumstances. The biggest hit after that will be the cash flow. The cash flow is hitting most of the companies, and the recoveries as well. So you need to focus on the recoveries in these particular days. Contact your customers and try to set up some ways to recover. Maybe you have to give certain discounts to them, a certain time for them to do your business continuity. And because if you will go with your previous cash flow expectation, you will not be achieved those. So you need to revise those things. Keep it simple and sweet, which means that the operation should be limited in a way which can be operated in a very smooth manner. Please try to understand that you cannot run 100% of the business right now, which we require to do the business in a way that which can be run in a smooth manner. Also see the supply chain options. Supply chain option means that the options which were available previously, which may not be available right now. Maybe the courier service which you were using before, it's no more operating. You have to see that which courier service is operating now, which cargo company is operating, which is more suitable for you, which it may be a little bit costly, but you need to modify it. You have to see and you have to identify those options and go for it. Next thing is communicate with relevant stakeholders. This is the most important point which I need to identify, or it is the gist of my presentation today. The communication with the relevant stakeholders, the number one is the employees. You need to talk to the employees. You need to make them understand that what's going on. You have to take them in confidence in a way that we all are suffering due to that. And you need to take him into in one umbrella, in a sense that you're not leaving them. It's the time for a short period of time. It may go for longer as well. So the complete communication is very important. I know some companies, they are communicating with their employees on a regular basis. They are communicating, they are sending messages on, some are sending every 2 days, 3 days, some are sending bi-weekly. So they are taking continuously the employees in confidence. The second is the suppliers. As I previously mentioned, that the supply chain is being suffered a lot. Your suppliers may not be able to supply you on time. Talk to them. Talk to them, see the other options. If it is delayed, how much it is delayed, what are the other options. Maybe previously you were taking it from a different supplier, you may need to change the supplier as well, or you need to revise the conditions with your supplier. So those, I will request those people who have still not talked to their suppliers, and their deliveries are expected in current few months, 3-4 months, they need to talk to them. The next one is investors, investor and banks. Many companies are operating, they have taken loans from the banks. You need to talk to them. They know the situation. All are aware of the situation. They will definitely revise the conditions. I know some companies who have taken the initiative on that, and they have successfully revised the terms and conditions of payback. It is very important because you will not be able to pay back according to your previous conditions, whatever you agreed with your banks. So it's very important time to talk to the banks and revise the terms and conditions with them. Government agencies, because a lot of government departments have different rules and regulations with regard to safety, with regard to quality, with regard to other things. You need to talk to them with regard to the new scenario, and you may have to change the conditions accordingly. The next point is, my point is, to maximize the use of the government support policies, which I have already mentioned in my previous slide with regard to the redemptions, rules and regulations, like the curfew situations and other situations which we need to follow very strictly in Saudi Arabia, especially, and other countries accordingly. There may be some breaches with regard to any government department, so you need to cover on that what kind of security breaches or safety breaches are possible these days, which you need to talk to the government and take a special approval for that. Last but not the least is the build resilience in preparation for the new normal. What is this? You need to be prepared for that. You need to prepare a business continuity plan. Business continuity plan is a scientific way of running a company whenever any disaster or disruption is happening. It may be fire, it can be earthquake, it can be IT disaster, whatever. You need to establish a disaster team. Disaster team may consist of your key personnel, and each person has certain responsibility on that. Then you need to establish some IT security measures. I will not go into that because we have another speaker which will give a very detailed view of the IT security during this COVID-19. Last in this is the review and monitoring, which means that whenever you will prepare a business continuity plan, you have to review and monitor on a continuous basis, maybe on initially on a more frequent basis, and later on maybe on a monthly basis, which is required. So these are the, now I will talk about post-COVID. What will happen after COVID? And whenever some crisis happening in the previous ages as well, there are certain attitudinal shifts. I will give some examples. Like after the 9/11, there was stricter aviation security. We have seen those people who are traveled before 9/11 and after 9/11, they can differentiate very easily. After the World War II, the women joining workforce was there because so many people, so many soldiers were required. So these are the historical example of the women joining the workforce. New consumer behavior when the SARS last time happened, increase in the e-commerce. But this time the e-commerce will be impacting a lot on that. There is another speaker on this subject today, which he will enlighten that what will be the e-commerce role after the post-COVID. So I will not go into that detail as well, but these will be the attitudinal shift. So we need to modify ourselves as well accordingly. that what are these attitudinal shifts going on. So in that particular perspective, I have made one slide here. These are the things which are the potential implication of the spending, which is more time and at home as well. Like starting, I have put like green are the areas which are basically potential increasing behavior, and yellow are which is decreasing behavior. They're like, for example, if you see the first one, the working from home. When most of the people will be working from home, what will happen? Home office spaces which means that home office space you need to establish office in your home. You have to make an office in your home as well in the future. Everybody has to make actually. Traditional office spaces will be less. That will be the new tradition. Those offices which, for example, they have 1,000 employees and all employees are sitting in the office, but after the COVID-19, when they will identify those positions which are not required in the office and they are required, they can work from home. So in that particular perspective, the traditional office spaces will be less. So it will be a potential impact on the real estate as well, which you can see here. Commercial real estate will be suffered. But what will increase the refurbishment of homes and equipment? Because what will happen when you will make your office at home, you may require some paint, carpentry, desk, printers. These businesses will grow. So that will be a new trend after COVID-19. Next habit change will be in the eating. Takeaway will be more, home cooking will be more, and delivery services will be more. So eating out will be less. Nowadays, when we were enjoying the food in hotels and restaurants will be less, and the food delivery will be more. You might have observed that there are a lot of apps are being made more frequently and more fast nowadays, which are like other food panda and those kind of things. And then the e-payments will also be there. More resources and more companies will come, which will basically help for the e-payments. The next industry is the entertainment. Entertainment will be suffered, but the areas which will improve or which will the new trend will be streaming, books and games, which are online mostly. But the live entertainment, whether it's a stadium, watching a football match or a cricket match, or it is a live show, it will be suffered. When we go to the travel, this industry is definitely being suffered a lot. Business travel will be less, personal travel will be less, long distance commuting tourism will be suffered, air travel, mass transit will be suffered. The only area which I feel is the local tourism may increase because people will be feeling more better because they need to get out of their normal situation. They have to get out of this frustration. They will definitely go for some kind of tourism, and that will be local tourism only. If you talk about Pakistan, so mostly people will travel within Pakistan. They will avoid traveling by plane. The most attractive part will be the digital coordination, which will be having collaboration platforms, bandwidth increase, software. So in future, you may see a lot of IT companies and a lot of even the telecommunication companies. Nowadays, you might have seen some group packages from different telecommunication companies like STC and Mobile. They are giving telephone packages. In future, you will see they will give the bandwidth packages to the companies as well. Like for example, buy a bandwidth package for 100 employees for your company, because each and every company has to provide the internet at the homes to their own employees, because right now we were not ready for that. So each and every employee is working at their own. So whatever the bandwidth is available with him, he is working with that particular bandwidth, with that particular network connection, which is sometimes not good, especially in Pakistan, because right now I'm sitting in Pakistan. I was here and I stuck here. I'm currently in Lahore. So I can feel the difference of this bandwidth and network connection between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan. And the people are really suffering here due to this bandwidth issue. Although it's better than the normal situation, people are saying it like this, but really I am not satisfied with that situation. So that will be a trend change. We have to ready for that for our business continuity. So I will just go last 10 minutes. I'm asking this question to all of you that are you prepared for that? Whether you are an owner of a company or you are an employee of the company, you are the general manager of the company, are you ready? Are you prepared for this? What operations have to be resumed after this pandemic? You need to write down those things. Please write down what operations will be resumed instantly after this pandemic. Do I have a prioritized list to resume this operation? Make a list for those operations. Can I communicate with my employee during this pandemic? Whether it's by telephone, by email, by whatever be the software which we are using, like for this particular Zoom software is like worldwide is being everybody knows about it. That's the subscription of Zoom has been increased in print tremendously. But I will appreciate one thing that many companies which they are treating their employees in a very good manner, and especially those companies who are in IT business, they are giving tremendous benefits to their employees as well. So this is the biggest question which everybody is asking these that are how to organize my workforce right now and after this as well. So first of all, we have to know that what is it? What is this working at home? And we need to getting into it, and then later on we have to do it effectively. So first of all, as I said, health and safety is the first and foremost thing. We have to follow the government regulations. But this work from home is a buzzword normally in our community. In our part of the world is a buzzword still. People are not fully aware of that how to work from home. I know several companies where my different friends are working and they are struggling in a way that those are the senior managers and they are saying that I'm unable to control my employees because I don't know what they are doing. I don't know how to get those controls from them because they were not ready for that. So this is a time, whatever we are spending the time at our homes, try to do, make a business continuity plan for future and see that how we can develop a work at home concept for future as well. Because I'm telling you, the new era which is coming after the COVID-19 as well, a lot of jobs will be coming which will be shifted from office to work at home as well. The most important thing that you need to do is make available the IT resources. We need to make them available. It will be in future, it will be the responsibility of the company to provide the IT resources to each and every employee at their homes. Get them equipped with the resources and equipment which are required. Maybe there are certain softwares, maybe there are certain malwares, there are certain software which are basically required to communicate. Next point is the flexi timings. Maybe initially it was not, as I said, that we were not ready for that. Think about that how we can give some flexi timing for them. If it is possible, make them work in shifts. There are certain time zones. There are companies which are working in Saudi Arabia and outside Saudi Arabia, which are working in different time zones. And previously we were having problems. So this is the right time to do that. Make them work in the shifts. So they can work effectively with the other countries, maybe in US or Europe. They can work more effectively if we can divide our teams in different shifts. Engage them. This is the most important challenge which majority of the companies are facing. They are unable to engage those employees. So what I suggest, it should be an objective based. Give the objectives to your managers, and the manager's responsibility that they should make certain objectives, weekly objectives and daily objectives to the team and make them in a flexi way working, because you cannot force them work right now because you have not trained them. They are not ready to do that. Last year I was in US. I was with one of my friend. He was working at home 3 days in a week. So I asked this question that how you are working. They have an excellent system. At 8 o'clock I saw he sat in front of the computer with a tie as he is attending an office. So what was happening that they were ready, they are trained, and even they can talk on their system that he can talk to his manager can talk to any employee as usual. So we need to set up those systems after all. After that, it's the time to set up those systems. If you are not ready, try to be ready. This is the business continuity requirement here. Encourage your team, encourage the team for the innovation, get the new ideas from the team, because the team is also sitting at their homes. They can give you some good ideas which you may not be thinking because you are more worried about the business. So who can give you more good ideas, more practical ideas? Those are your employees. Those which are working on the grassroots level, they can give you good ideas as well. Definitely virtual meetings are the need of the time. There are different softwares are being utilized. Try to utilize whatever be the most effective software, search it and utilize it. And then I will also give one more point here, that you can spend this time in the development of the employees as well. There are certain trainings which are available free of the cost as well, and there are certain costly, not so much costly trainings are available. So what you can do, see each and every employee, and when you feel that the certain employees are free, you can give them an objective. Search some free trainings. I have shared some free trainings 3-4 days before on the group also. I will again share. You can go to those free trainings and you can give those training to your employees, that go to this training and get this training and give it back to me, the certificate. This is the right time for their development, because maybe in the normal days you are not able to give them time for different trainings, but right now if you feel that they are free, they can get those trainings as well. I'm just closing my presentation in 2-3 minutes. So what is the post-COVID scenario? You need to identify that the business and operation started earlier stage, and what region will be starting on an earlier. Future business, I said, will be IT based. Future jobs, you will see a lot of jobs in future which will be, the announcement will be there, work at home. As I said, office expenses will be little shut down, will be reduced. Supply chain will go in automation process. So these will be a post-COVID scenario, and for that we need to establish our business continuity plan effectively. In last, I will say, just stay at home and be safe. Thank you very much.